This is Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars with Stephen Fennick and Trevor Long. Thanks to NRMA Insurance and Uniden.
Thank you, NRMA Insurance. Thank you, Uniden. NRMA Insurance helping over 3 million Aussies protect the things they care about, and Uniden Smart Dash Cams, the thing you need to know what happened.
Award-winning.
Well, that could be a slogan.
Yeah.
How about that?
What did you?
The thing you need to know what happened. Can you ring Brad?
Yeah,
Get him on the line.
we'll get him.
The thing you need to know what happened. I mean, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of calls to get through later in the show, but I want to talk sales figures. I don't want to put my
Yeah.
glasses off because I need to read them.
Well, halfway through the year, so
Yes.
we've gone past the halfway point, and a good time to take stock of what's going on in the EV world.
Let's talk full EV first.
Yes.
And then we will talk plug-in hybrid because I still believe the plug-in hybrid is a
Yeah.
fantastic option for a lot of people who are teetering on the
Nice
edge.
option.
It
Yeah.
might be their next car before their EV or whatever. And look, there's
It's like the transit lounge for EV owners. Yeah,
that's a good point.
potentially. Yeah.
Unquestionable dominance by Tesla in Australia. The Model Y sold 12,500.
Your favourite?
The Toad.
Trev's
The Model
favourite?
3 sold 10,600. So what's that? 13,000.
Still leading the way.
23,100 overall, which is just dominant, unbelievably dominant. And that's because they've got supply.
And you know what surprises me is that of course, they're popular. But yeah, they're popular for a reason because, look, to most people, they look nice. They epitomise an EV. Like when people think of it, it's like when they think of an EV, they think of a Tesla.
That's right.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
saying, I'm going to buy a Tesla when they mean of an EV.
Yes.
You know, it's like, when the iPod came out, they go, I
Yes.
want to buy an iPod. They meant an MP3 player.
Yes.
That's Tesla, right?
Yeah,
now.
true.
Yeah.
Here's what's great and I love about this part of the market is number 3 and 4 are BYD, the Seal and then the Atto 3. So the
Yeah.
Seal outsold the Atto 3, which is great news because it's newer
Yes.
to the market. 4,000 Seals sold, 3,700 Atto 3s, and the Dolphin came
good.
in 6 with the MG4 just ahead of it.
And that was that only was released later in the year too.
Yeah.
So not too bad.
So these are January through June numbers, and they're solid numbers. The Volvo XC30, like have a go at that, didn't sell any in January, February, March. April, May, June, total of 1,000 cars, which puts it in the
Wow.
top 10.
That's amazing.
So that's,
MG doing all right too, 2,700.
yeah, with
Pretty
the
good, the
MG4. BMW i4 right up the list, but then I like to scroll down. I like to look and I go, hey, where's Stephen's car? So there are only 91 of those sold.
Is that right?
91 EQEs this year, so obviously yours was last
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Um,
Wow.
The Cupra Born, 259 sold this year. And the EV9, 313, which is that they would be the first models because I think it
How
went
many
on sale.
Cupras? Cupra Bulls?
259.
Okay. I like those numbers.
Yeah, for sure.
We've said it before. I like the fact that not everyone has my car.
Yeah.
And that's, I'll say it right now. I've probably said it before. That's one of the reasons I didn't get a Model 3
Totally.
because everyone's got one.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I bought a Born.
Yeah.
Yeah. No question
And
at
I
all.
used to drive a Tesla. I had a Model S, which not everyone had.
Now-
Would have, yeah.
How's this? The Rolls-Royce Spectre, which is a $770,000 car,
Yeah.
sold more. So there was 11 of those sold.
Yeah.
So that's $7.7 million worth of Rolls-Royce electric cars.
Wow.
They sold more electric cars than the LDV Ute, the Mazda MX-30, and the LDV Miata.
Wow.
So Rolls-Royce was not the lowest selling car. In fact, Rolls-Royce sold more Spectres than the Mercedes-Benz EQS.
I'm surprised with the Audi Q4 e-tron. One. They sold one in 6 months.
Maybe it might be a run out. Like that's the thing. I
potentially,
wonder
yeah.
whether this.
But
is
isn't that
also
the is that what is that the two-door? No, that's the. Is that the one I drove? It's got like about 200k, or is that what one's that one?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember which
it's
one.
not
you
a
drove.
cheap car. That's the thing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, but
The more expensive cars are down the bottom. Yeah.
it's a big list though. What I find fascinating about this is holy heck. There's a lot,
so many,
mate. There's a lot still to drive. That's what I look at and go, oh wow, we've still got some work to do here. You know,
Boom.
That Fiat 500 that you've been enjoying, the standard variant,
The 500e.
the R-Buff, and next week you'll have the standard variant. There's 133 of them on the road.
You're
This
going to
year.
make me drive it another one
It's
for another week.
It's the standard
Your
model.
turn, mate. Your turn.
I've got something else.
Oh, okay. I bet you it's a lot nicer than that
It's
one.
a Hyundai,
It's a lot
'cause
bigger.
it's up here.
It's a lot bigger.
It's a
as
Hyundai
well.
because it's up here.
Okay.
We can negotiate you swapping
That's
on a
fine,
Wednesday.
mate.
There's
That's
no
fine.
dramas at all.
We'll work it out, mate.
Everyone
work it
needs
out.
to see Stephen in the Fiat.
Like I told you, if I can't find a parking, I can just put it in my pocket.
Now, plug-in hybrid sales or hybrid car sales, to be more precise, you know, when we talk about those numbers, the Toyota RAV4 hybrid there was more Toyota RAV4 hybrids sold than there were Teslas.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
just on perspective, there's still a huge demand for range and the petrol and that stuff. But Toyota is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 6 or 7? Top 6 cars are Toyotas because they do
In
hybrid better than anyone
yeah,
else.
Of course they do. And just I want to ask, which of are any of these plug-in hybrids?
Toyotas, no. None of those are plug-in hybrids.
Wow.
I think the Nissan X-Trail e-Power is not plug-in either. Yeah. These are just pure hybrids, I think. I think this list might be pure hybrids.
They are absolutely dominating. Look at that.
Yeah, it's
That's
wild.
amazing. So the RAV4 hybrid is, look at that, 23,935 in the first 6 months.
Yeah.
That's good numbers, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like they're doing very well.
Yeah.
So this is the thing about Toyota. They're not mucking around.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're doing.
No wonder they're dragging their feet bringing out a full EV. Or they got one full EV, haven't they?
The car that Barry drives, like that ad.
Yeah.
It's like it's a stupid name, the BZ4RX or some stupid thing. The top selling, I found an article at drive.com.au which shows, and I'll just share this with you, Stephen, so you can be on the same page as me. The Mitsubishi Outlander, I need your airdrop. There it is. The Mitsubishi Outlander is the top selling hybrid with 2,422 sales. Mm-hmm. So that's up 1,042% year on year.
Wow.
And Mitsubishi's Eclipse Cross sold 1,400. So, like, they're selling in good numbers, but this is the market that BYD is about to get into with their Sea Lion. MG have a couple of vehicles in this space. So there's solid growth overall in the plug-in hybrid market. But I would argue, looking at the list, there's less plug-in hybrid models than there are electric vehicles, full electrics, in terms of choice.
Plug-in hybrids, you mean? I agree. Yeah, there would be. Well, isn't it interesting that BYD decided to? Well, it's obviously a massive market. They thought, well, we want a bit of that piece of that as well. So they thought, well,
there's already
let's
482 of those Sea Lions on the road
already. Yeah, they're a nice looking car too, I've got to say.
The Sea Lion,
the BYD range
overall
is impressive. Yeah, very impressive.
Cooper doing well. The Formentor plug-in there, the 313. But again, mate, there's a Ferrari plug-in hybrid, GTB, 22 Ferraris sold.
Wow. Plug-in hybrid Ferrari.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
McLaren, 18 plug-in hybrids.
Is that the Artura?
Artura, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to drive that later this year. I've been trying to work out between cars that we're driving. I am going to get into that in September.
All right. Well, we'll make sure we organise it for when you're back, all right?
Definitely.
A lot of Ferraris sold. Geez, anyway.
Wow. Doing very well.
Look, I'm genuinely curious. For people that don't have an EV, have you considered the plug-in hybrid as opposed to going full EV? Because we do hear from people who are on the verge of EV. They're thinking about it. Have you considered the plug-in hybrid as your, toe in the water on going EV?
Yeah, well, I think there's a few people who, so my understanding would be the ideal for the driver who doesn't drive far, maybe drives 40, 50 Ks a day.
Yep.
So the battery in a plug-in hybrid could maybe handle their day-to-day
That's right.
driving.
And you get the electric feeling from that.
Yeah, and so you get the feel of that, and then obviously for the longer trips, you got the motor, the petrol motor as well.
I wonder if with a plug-in hybrid, you're less likely to learn to charge regularly because you know that you've got you get home and you're like, I'm just going to drive tomorrow in petrol. You know what I mean? You don't have that feeling of need.
Although the price of petrol, it'd be a good motivator to say, well,
that's a good point.
I better plug it in. It's gonna, if I am lazy, don't plug it in, and got to drive 60 Ks on petrol, then that's going to hit your wallet, isn't it?
The Honda Accord you drove was a hybrid, wasn't it?
That was a hybrid, but not a plug-in.
Not a plug-in, just plain hybrid.
It was a hybrid. Yeah.
Was it nice?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was an Accord. Yeah,
because
I thought it was a plug-in hybrid, and I'm thinking, here it is. It was a petrol. It was where you put the fuel in. I think, it's not a plug-in hybrid. This one.
Try to plug it in.
No, I didn't.
Didn't go that far.
I didn't even go as far as backing it into the spot. Luckily, I looked in my driveway where the flap was, and I thought, okay, this is not a plug-in hybrid, but just a hybrid.
Love to hear from you if you're in the market, or if you bought a plug-in hybrid for that reason.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to experience electric, save money on petrol because you know your daily drive is low, and all those reasons. Would love to hear from you and let us know what you're driving, because it's always great to hear from people and their experience in the EV world. Even though it's not full EV, you're still an EV. You still get the sticker.
You do,
even a standard hybrid.
You got to put
hybrid
EV,
Corolla gets the.
Yep.
I think that I would prefer there was a different coloured sticker for hybrids, so that
like a PHEV, get a different.
Mine stood out.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
yeah, I agree.
Like a
Why should we
Toyota
be
Corolla
branded with
hybrid
everyone else? Yeah.
has no plug. It's just got a little battery, but they get an EV sticker on the back. Now,
Yeah.
to be clear, that's for fireys, so they know there's a
Yes,
battery there.
they
and everything. But
know,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, can we just get some exclusivity going on here?
We need to be distinguished.
Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars. We'd love to hear from you. 0477 657 657. Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars. Thanks for your company. Thanks to NRMA Insurance and Uniden Smart Dash Cams. 0477 657 657. Barry's on the line. G'day, Barry.
G'day, how you going, guys?
Really good, mate. You got an EV? You look at an EV? What are your questions?
No, just looking to buy, so still a little way off, but my question was around tyres, and I was listening to a show, I think it was an American show the other day, and they were talking about, or it was an ad actually for tyres, specifically for EVs, and they implied that they had lower rolling resistance, which, as I said, I thought would be a worry because you actually want some of that in order to be able to brake and steer and so on. So are they any different for EVs as compared to your ICE vehicles?
There's no doubt they're different. You don't see the same tyres fitted at factory level for EVs. My first thought on this, because I'm not a tyre expert to be real, but my first thought on this was range. So a lot of everything on the car is based around getting you a certain amount of range and noise. So because you're not hearing the engine, you're hearing the road noise more. And so I believe EV tyres are designed to have a better sound to them, which sounds ridiculous. And I also believe there's some theory around the range calculation and how they're configured. I personally would argue, though, mate, the way I drive, the range calculation is not relevant because I'm already, not driving, with finesse and all that kind of stuff. So saving 3 kilometres on the total range of the car couldn't give a rat's about.
Yeah, I can recall Tesla recommending certain brands of tyres.
Yeah.
But also too, I remember being told that the tyres on an EV will wear out slightly faster because of the weight of the car.
Oh,
it is
of
a bit
course.
heavier.
Yep.
So, but that's like you're talking months, not years. Like it's you get slightly faster wear on that. But also too, all the other same rules apply. Like you need to have your tyres pumped up to the right level just to help you create that efficiency as well. But there are some interesting considerations.
I think that weight issue is probably the biggest one, and then also remember the torque delivery of power on these things is outrageous. And so probably a standard tyre wouldn't cope well with that in the same way that they do in an EV with that heavier battery load. So is that something you're thinking, oh, hang on a minute, I'm going to have to pay more in the long run for tyres that might put you off?
Well, I'm not sure it'd be a huge factor, but it's something just to try and figure out when we're talking about what the differences are, that's all. So the tyres, I just wondered, so I assume they're more expensive?
I would guess yes. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: when you go to Jack's Tyres or Bar Repairs or whatever it is, and you're going with a Kia Carnival, which I last did, or at Mazda 2, they go, "Do you want the Bob Jane brand or whatever it is?" And you're like, "Yeah, because I don't care, whatever, mate. Yeah. I'm just driving this thing around town." Now, if I was driving that car on highways and at high speed, I would definitely pay more. But the options don't exist as much as they do. So it's like your no-name pharmaceuticals or no-name cornflakes, There's just not enough market for it yet, I would argue.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
How far off do you reckon you are?
Probably one more car at this stage, so a fair way, really. We're out in the country, you need a decent sort of range.
Yeah, right.
That's one of the issues.
Is that so? That's your concern, is it? Having an EV that can get you the range and get you to where you need to be without being stranded.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how far are you driving every day then? How far?
Oh, look, it varies. We'd probably average about 20 to 30,000 k's a year, and there's a fair bit of short stuff in that. So I know where you're coming from, but we do have longer trips that we really need to be able to do. So.
Yeah. Well, if and when you do decide to get an EV, I'd recommend you get a charger at home for a start, so you can easily
Yes,
take
yes.
off, from your own driveway. You've got a full battery, and just the sheer number of chargers that are now appearing all across the country, especially in rural and remote areas, they're increasing by the month.
I think your timing's probably spot on, really,
Yeah.
because you're another car away, which might be 5 to 6 years, which means the network, the industry, the whole thing's got 5 or 6 years more to mature. And I think the biggest change in that time will be charging. The governments are very strong on their funding for charging in the dense city areas where there's no off-street parking and in rural areas where exactly your problem exists. So you're probably in the right time frame, mate.
Yeah, I hope so.
Have you driven one though? Have you driven one already,
No,
Barry?
I haven't even sat in one yet, so it's a pretty big step, isn't it? But I've just always had a lot of belief in what they are. They just seem to make so much sense.
Yeah.
The logic around.
you've got to-
Barry, you know
swinging
what? I
thing.
reckon, mate, you get inside one, you'll think, oh, you know what? We should get it sooner. I reckon we'll go pull the trigger sooner.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's why I'm trying to stay away.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's probably a wise move to stay away because it is a selling point, mate. Just the drive, the comfort, the sound. There is a genuine selling to them, mate. So next time you're in the city, maybe just sneak in and have a look at one. Where are you in rural Australia, mate?
Northwest Victoria.
Okay, nice.
Nice,
Lovely
nice
part of the world, mate.
Lovely.
Well, enjoy your EV journey as long as it takes, mate, but definitely just pop in and have a look at one, mate. Give it a fang.
Have a go, Barry.
Oh, thanks very much.
Good on you, mate. Thanks for
Barry.
getting in touch, mate. Good on you. I think we've never had that question before. It's a great question. And look, there's no doubt in my mind it's going to be more expensive. The tyres are going to be more expensive.
Yeah, I'd sort of I left it in the hands of the manufacturer. Like they know their vehicle and the tyres they recommend.
Did you go through tyres on the Tesla?
Yeah, one set.
One set.
Yeah,
Right,
so one set. So I had the car 5 years. I replaced the tyres once,
I'd
which is about normal, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I'd be amazed if the Cooper doesn't smash through tyres the way I drive
Really?
it. Oh, mate,
my,
I take
you
that thing through
flog it.
corners.
Hey?
Just even the basic corners. I just love the feel of it.
Yeah, right.
That-
There you go.
You know, you talked last week about getting that first Tesla and then remembering it.
Yeah.
I still have that feeling when I get in the Cooper just to drive here, which is a 5-minute drive from home.
Yeah.
I still have that feeling as the first time I drove it. It's just
Great.
I love the feeling of it on the
You
road.
never forget your first time, mate. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
It was in Canberra on a press launch
There you have it.
for the
There you
Cooper
have it.
born.
Yeah. Boom.
Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars. If you want to get in touch, 0477 657 657. Oh, that's ended that one.
Sounds like good driving.
Wow.
That's driving music. Isn't
That was
it?
driving
Like-
music?
Like you're driving. Yeah. Appropriate.
Appropriate, sure. A bit loud for my EV. I like quiet and peace of quiet. Although when I'm with the kids, I turn it up loud so they can just do their own thing.
Yeah.
Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars. We'd love to hear from you. If you've got an EV, you love EVs, you're just fascinated by them. You obviously must be because you listen to this.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit weird if you weren't.
If you hated them, you'd be thinking,
We haven't
what
had
are
a
these
text
blokes
message
talking
from a
about?
hater yet.
No, not
Hater of
yet.
EVs.
Not
I've had
yet.
text messages myself from haters.
But that's a completely different
That's
topic.
completely unrelated, yeah. Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars. 0477 657 657. Sean's on the line. G'day, Sean.
How you going, guys?
Yeah, really good, mate. Where are you at in the EV world?
I've had my BYD seal now for about 5 or 6 weeks. So,
Nice.
So you're a fresh EV owner.
yeah, I've had the thoughts. For the last 2 years, I've just said, look, the next car is clearly going to be an EV. And at the time, Tesla was probably the only thing on the market that really was appropriate. But times have changed.
Absolutely. And how are you liking it, mate? You're pretty fresh to it. How are you liking it?
Oh, look, it's just amazing. The refinement of the car and the acceleration and the feel is just amazing. You'd never go back to a petrol car ever again.
Yeah, I like the BYD. I've driven the Seal. It's a nice car. Punches above its weight, as I always say. It's a very nice vehicle.
What made so you said the market's changed. What got you to that car?
Well, look, I'm an ex-Holden production manager, so I'm a car guy through and through, and I love style. And you look at what's on the market, and each to their own. But you look at the Model Y, and that's clearly a toad without any sort of conversation. In that.
You are a listener. You are a listener of the show.
you look at the Model 3, and that was clearly designed by a guy with no friends.
Wow.
The Polestar
Shots fired.
2
Boom.
was
Wow.
Yeah. The Polestar 2 was probably designed by a guy on steroids.
Ooh.
Listen, if you mention the Cupra Born, Shaun, this call will end.
I didn't go near that one. I didn't go near that one.
Yeah. Okay.
You look at the DeLorean, and you look at the Ioniq 5, and that's kind of a DeLorean, love child.
It's grown on me. The Ioniq 5, I detested when I first saw it. I didn't like the fact that it was just this boxed hatchback, but it has grown on me immensely. I'll say that.
Yeah,
But
for me, the style for the seal, it's kind of like it's a little bit like a ladyboy. It's really attractive and classy, but there's something different underneath.
Shaun's a part-time comedian, I think.
You've been working on these lines or what?
Oh, no, look, I just have a bit of fun.
You know what? I've got to say, the Seal is an eye-catching car.
Yeah, it is.
And even more compelling is the price.
Hang on, what colour did you get?
I reckon, let me say,
blue. Black.
Blue. The blue
No,
colour.
I got the dark blue, which is called Atlantic Grey, which is a bit bizarre.
Yeah,
but,
cool. Yeah. I know the colour you mean. That's a popular colour, that one. Yeah. And which particular version did you get?
Bought the premium, which is the mid-range.
Nice.
It sort of had everything you need. I'm not going to set any land speed records. So
you said you're a car guy. I think you said you worked in car production. I think in your text message you said you've got some classics as well. So you must be surrounded by car guys, right? It must be your barbecues and things. So have you got some haters among your mates? Is that why you've been cracking all these jokes?
Oh, look, it's just wonderful talking to the ill-informed about, what EVs are about, because most people who talk about them have never been in one. So I always find that really interesting.
True that. They're not really talking out of any knowledge there. They're just talking out of
and what convinces them, your facts or the drive?
Oh, look, I think that the drive is everything, and of course there's lots of they catch fire, they do this, and of course all that research says that's all rubbish. And of course, as an ex-Holden guy in a factory, I say, well, they don't make cars like they used to, and thank God for that, because they're safer and more reliable than they've ever been.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
hey, as a Holden guy, I got to ask you this, and you said to me in the text you've got like a Corvette and a Bel Air. If there was one vehicle I could house, not drive, but house, own, you know what it would be? It would be the Effigy. Do you remember that concept car?
Oh, yeah, that was, I worked for them when we made that. That was spectacular.
Just a stunning...
What was that? What model was that?
It was just a concept car. I remember it being at the Sydney Motor Show, and it's this kind of old school looking thing with this long drawn out back. And I think they even took it to the States as a concept car. It personified to me the classic look of a Holden and the modern styling that a concept car was. And it's kind of, do you get sad that the brand like Holden doesn't still exist, especially in this modern world of EVs?
Yeah, I think it's really sad that the brand doesn't go on, but if it did, it was never going to be Australian anymore. So I think we just got to let that sort of fade away. And I used to travel around Asia helping in the early 2000s with General Motors, teaching people how to build cars in factories in China and places like that. And,
it's your fault then.
Yeah, look, just the speed at which these guys were learning was just phenomenal back in those days. So when you now look at the quality that comes out, a car made in China is now a very decent vehicle.
Mate, it was only 10 years ago that was not a statement you could make.
Yeah.
I do remember you saying you're not very fond of the Tesla brand. Any reason behind that, Shaun? Is it because they sort of are they a bit of a young upstart? Do you see them as? Or
So look, you guys are gadget guys. Remember Sony in the 90s? That everything was particular to Sony, and nothing would nothing would plug into anything else.
Yep.
And And it was great when that tech was new and Sony did really well. But look what happened when eventually they were swamped by brands and standardization killed them.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing's potentially going to happen to Tesla. There is eventually everybody else is on a standard platform and interchangeability, and Tesla's just going to hang out there and really, it's going to be eventually, I think, swallowed up. It's either going to have to step in line with everybody else or it'll fade away.
Yeah, right. Interesting observation.
No, I think it's a good observation.
You coming from the car industry, you're speaking from knowledge there and experience.
What's your absolute favourite thing about the Seal?
Oh, look, I think it's just the quality of the finish in the cabin and stuff is fantastic.
Yeah.
The leg room in the rear of the vehicle is just amazing for the size of the vehicle.
It is surprisingly roomy inside. Yeah, I agree with that. What's one thing, though, that maybe you don't like, Shaun, that you would improve?
Oh, here's a classic for you. In a car that costs, somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000, depending on what model you buy, no sunglass holder.
Sunglass holders. Wow. Okay.
That's not something that was on my list.
Yeah. There's cup holders, though. Plenty of cup holders.
You'd hate the Cooper Born then, because it is it's now that I think about it, I wish my car had a sunglass holder, because I put them in the little cup holder caddy and they don't shut properly. So okay, I'm with you.
Sunglass holder, maybe
suggested
for the next
minor,
model.
but fascinating.
Well, that was what I hate. That was one of my gripes about the Tesla. No coat hook. When I was driving the very early Tesla, the press cars, like I'd be driving to Channel 9, nowhere to put my coat. What's that all about?
They sold them to put on the back of your seat. I bought them for my Model S.
You shouldn't have. That's like saying in a Model 3, I'm going to buy
buy cup holders.
Buy the visor to cover up the sunroof, which is too blazingly hot in Australia.
Yeah.
Well, everything's an option with that thing.
I tinted mine, though, so that was that.
Anyway,
got me over that issue.
I'm not a fan, as you know. As you well know, Shaun, as a clear listener, I love your assessment of many vehicles. Keep fighting the good fight of working against the ill-informed, and mate, enjoy the car.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Thanks, guys.
Good on you, mate. Really
Thanks,
great
Shaun.
to hear from you, buddy. That's awesome. Yeah, well, to have someone who used to work in production talk about the quality
Fit
of
and
production
finish.
for the BYD.
What an endorsement
Mate,
for BYD.
I hope we can remember to send that to BYD.
What
They'll love
an
that.
endorsement.
It's a huge endorsement, you know.
Yeah.
And he's right, the Chinese don't do things by halves. When they learn how to do something
fast. Yeah.
they scale, they do it well.
Yes.
And, those early Chinese cars were horrible.
Yeah. Interesting what you said about Tesla and how they're sort of trying to be their own, stand out on their own and not having the standardization. Interesting. And look, other brands are popping up, of course. Tesla was one of the first pure EV brands. But
I still think America did the wrong thing by adopting the Tesla Charger as the North American standard.
Yeah.
We've got a global CCS, which is essentially the standard now with a couple of CHAdeMO hold-ons.
Yeah.
And yet Tesla created this own style of charger and North America went, cool, we'll do that. And so now everyone has to create cars with it's just,
for North
we had
America.
an opportunity. We had an opportunity to be a world. And North America decided, no, we're going to stick with inches. You idiots.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they're a standout in Fahrenheit and inches. What are we doing with another charger? It's wild, but that's the dominance of Tesla in America.
Oh, they're massive, yeah, of course. And they other brands, they were in Australia, they were big, but other brands are catching up. But you're right, in the States, Tesla's still massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars. Lovely to hear from people who are in the market or already own, and we'd love to hear from you. If you are, 0477 657 657, or if you like Penelope and you've driven them all,
How many
you haven't
was that?
made a decision.
11, yeah.
World record.
That's a record for the show.
I don't know anyone's driven more cars than that to buy any
11.
car,
Yeah.
let alone EVs.
I haven't driven 11.
I think you might have by now.
Maybe.
I think you might have.
Just.
We'll be back next week. Two Blokes Talking Electric Cars.